Oh, the music's starting over. Oh my God, there we go. We'll get rid of the banner here in just 1 second and show you our faces. Too much applause. Here we go. Happy Friday, Fast, Furious, sometimes Fantasy Freedom Fighters. We're on today with the Mike Barbeau, who is going to tell us about all the stuff he's developing for PEG right now, which is awesome because it's like lots of things, and you guys are very excited about them. And yeah, it would be such a pity if someone embarrassed Mike and he got even more red. He turned 3 shades darker, pinker.
I'm not gonna lie. Calling someone out here, John Doom is the reason I can't read the comments section. Specifically, he got me before this even started. Yeah,
John Doom's the best. So welcome, and Mike's like, no one's going to show up to this stream because it's just me talking. And it's like 20 people right here, so calm down, Mike. You're fine. You got fans, bud. So yeah, this is a very exciting Friday. Lots of good stuff in development, and let's see. We should change the background because I did. Let's see, background. Savage Universe. Okay, so as long as we got the Savage Universe background. Savage Universe is coming along really nicely, folks. We've had a couple of drafts of the site, and we are working on some of the technical stuff to put in a really cool, awesome interactive calendar for everybody. And so once that gets properly beta tested, we're going to launch the site, and that's going to be really awesome. And but yeah, other than that, so let's see. We promised you talk about SciFi Companion, Pathfinder, Savage Worlds, and then a little thing called Doomguard. So
yes.
Let's start with SciFi, sir. What's going on with the SciFi Companion? What was your inspirations? What's currently going on?
So real quick, too, for everybody here, right? We're not going to go into super in-depth stuff today just because there is literally so much that I would have to talk about on any one subject. But SciFi has been fantastic. I have been working on the book now for a while. There are some other people who had their hands on it before me who have done great things with it. I'm still in contact with Daryl, for example, who has had his brilliant mind grace the pages. And it's going to be so awesome, I think. I'm trying to make sure that we can cover everything anybody wants to try to do. Although at this point, I will say, I feel like when I asked Shane initially if I could tackle it, he knew how much work went into it, and I feel like he was laughing maniacally without me knowing it because he realized that I didn't realize how much went in. But I mean, for example, I've also added, not that I think this is going to be a huge thing everybody does, but I've added like some equipment and stuff for like if people want to play a Ready Player One game, right? And you want to be like, all right, well, I want to do half of this in VR and I want to do half of it outside. So making sure to include equipment and stuff so that you can try to do that. Which again, I don't know how many people want to play half VR in and out, or maybe Savage Shadowrun or something where they want to go half in and half out of the system. But I want to make sure that it's there for everybody to do it. We've talked about, dogfighting and what it means to have, everybody doing something on a ship and ship combat, your base, whether it's a ship or a planet. We've added a bunch of new races from, just to give general examples, like whether you're looking at Krogans or Klingons, right? These big, bulky, aggressive species, all the way to the little ones, whether it's Ewok or
Triple.
Not that small.
Okay.
But if you're a fan of Brandon Sanderson and Skyward, like the Kitsune, so we're trying to cover everything here, and there's a lot in SciFi. I mean, when you look at SciFi genre, there's so many out there that go from just being on a planet and dealing with this weird future dystopia to jetting through the black, whether it's realistic or space opera. And so there's going to be plenty of setting rules and stuff, a lot to look over, I think.
Nice. Okay, so cool comment. I'm gonna go back to John Doom. So wait. So we have like layers in the supers and castles and hideouts in fantasy. So we doing ships, home base rules.
Yeah, so it was introduced, I think it was either introduced in fantasy or sci-fi, I'm not sure, but the idea of having your home base and having the different things that can evolve, whether there's uh, mechanical issues that come up or things to add on, yes, there will be that. So, if you want to be zipping through the black on the Serenity, you'll be able to do it.
So good, so good. Okay, Ewoks, scary man-eating carnivores. It's true. It's true. In either way, I mean, Disney was looking for a tie-in for kids, and then just just ruined all of their childhoods when they released the two extra Ewok movies, like the Fight for Endor. Like, I remember being damaged. They were like darker than the films, and you've got like space Nazis in the films, but
And, yeah, and there's just in general, there's a lot that you can do with it, right? So like I said, we have a bunch of races, but we've also got new abilities for building your own races. So like if you want, you can sit down and I'm gonna throw one for way back. You could play Savage Deep Space Nine and play a shape-shifting gelatinous life form.
Yeah, Odo. What up,
Odo? Yeah, deep cuts right there.
Is it sad that like Deep Space Nine is a deep cut? It's kind of like hearing like the bands you grew up with on like the classic rock channel. It's like, wasn't that long? Oh, I'm getting old.
yeah. So we're yeah, exactly. The lobes, yeah. No, so there's a lot of stuff in here that we're focusing on to try to bring it out to you guys, right? And I'm sure we'll miss something. One of my favorite things that I'm trying to hone in on is these. I love the spacefaring aliens that like exist, in the void or an asteroid. So like as your ship passes through, they like latch on and start ripping open your hull to like crawl inside and attack you. For people who are fans of Voyager, species 8471, I think it is. But like, so I'm working on stuff like that. So there'll be, new monsters, mech rules, and all kinds of levels of armor, right? Whether it's low armor, force fields, power armor, mechs, tanks, bigger mechs or spaceships.
We're gonna need a bigger mech.
We're gonna need a bigger mech, yeah. So there's all kinds of ways to go here, and so Babylon 5, man, Babylon 5 is a real deep cut. I haven't seen that since I was really young. So yeah, I mean, as you guys are kind of posting all these, a lot of great sci-fi fans here, and I wish I could go even deeper into it. But I think you're going to find a lot of stuff that you like, that you can, use in your own settings, because that's what the book's for, right? It's for taking and doing your own thing, kind of like everything else.
It's the only way to be sure, man. It's the only way to be sure. Oh, did he just read? Did he recently pass? I think he did. I'm a full one, but oh yeah, sad. Yeah. Pour one out for our homie and the xenomorphs.
So funny for Don's comment, I have run Mass Effect style RPGs before. Yeah, Daryl's a big fan. For the Starship things I've been playtesting, I've actually used the newer Battlestar Galactica, the episode where it's like every 19 minutes, like the Cylons come in and they're like, all right, reset the clocks, and they have to fight them off before they can jump again. I've used that as my big testing ground for dogfights, because it allows you to have like the big ship as well as all the little fighters going around. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I hope everyone else is too.
Yeah, I think the chat has blown up, man. Everyone's throwing out ideas for all the stuff to do. So Facebook user, if you go onto the post of Facebook and there's a little link at the bottom of the tag for the video, you can like accept StreamYard, and then it'll actually show us who you are instead of just mysterious Facebook. I mean, you can remain mysterious Facebook user, but that wouldn't be very sci-fi. That'd be more like noir.
Also, points for calling out Farscape. Fantastic show.
Right. Good stuff. There's so much good stuff in sci-fi. It's kind of the big challenge, right? It's like so here's a question. How has been working on the Sci-Fi Companion different than all the work you've already done on Pathfinder for Savage Worlds? Like, And it would seem to me off the first bat that, like, you know, Pathfinder Savage Worlds, you got to capture one flavor, you know, what the Paizo's take on high fantasy. But then for sci-fi, you kind of got to dish it out across so many different expectations of, you know, all the different sci-fis that, you know, people want to kind of emulate and have tools for. So what else besides, like, how's that been, and what other differences are there between the development on doing the elves and then doing elves in space, which are Vulcans, but there's a little angrier.
So there's a couple things with that, I think. First is kind of like you nailed in with Savage Pathfinder. I'm at least able to narrow in and say, no, they don't do that in Pathfinder, so I don't need to make this work. I need to make this other thing work. And that's really easy to hyper focus in on. And it's a rough guideline, but it's a solid guideline. Whereas I'll sit here with the sci-fi companion, and instead of going, I have to hard focus on this one thing, I have to go, okay, well, how many tough aliens are there, right? Like, what do I really have to mimic? I have to mimic this whole spectrum of sci-fi tropes. Like when I was working on the gelatinoids, for example, I think I had made a comment to Shane, and Shane like then sent me like images of all these different gelatinoids that I didn't even know about from older sci-fi settings. And I'm like, all right, yes, those two.
There's a throwback, Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf, yeah. And so the other thing too is, you know, the companions all pride themselves on being able to be used with any setting, so people can cherry pick what they want and use it there. And so, sorry, watching all these ideas fly through, and I'm like, I got you guys. I know where you're coming from.
Savage Void Conf Test. There's a tortoise in the desert. It's on its back. You find it strangling.
But yeah, it's trying to make it broad enough that everyone can use it, but specific enough that when somebody reads it, they go, oh, I know exactly how to do this and run this. I know exactly how it applies. So it's been challenging, but it's really exciting to do. And plus, you know, I post on Facebook, I'm like, hey guys, you know, what's some of your, you know, favorite sci-fi shows or movies? And, you know, it lets me, like, you know, use it as an excuse to watch TV, to take information. So it's
Stompy Robots. Are we going Gundam? Are we going Evangelion? Are we going Mech Warrior? Because
there are so many. Yeah, no.
So this needs to be a whole, like, is there a whole chapter for Stompy Robots? Just call it Stompy Robots?
It's not called Stompy Robots, but yes, there is. There's a section just for mechs specifically. There's a section for power armor.
I mean, marketing guys, this is a missed opportunity there to not call it Stompy Robots. But whatevs, I trust your development skills.
Well, you know, if it helps any, I think my art request for like the chapter heading is I definitely want Stomping Robots.
Nice. Cool.
So there is that.
When pigs fly.
Yeah, the hardest thing I will actually say is economy. So when you're looking at like Pathfinder, Paizo provided an initial economy that we can take and we can just work with easy. But trying to make sure that, like, you know, the rules are there for if you want to, like, buy a ship or if you want to buy a car. You know, one of the problems you can usually run into is if, you know, you're running around gunslinging, right? Edge of Tomorrow, yeah. If you're running around gunslinging and then you want to buy a ship, you either have the money to buy all the gear you'll ever need on Earth, or, you know, why would you ever do that? Because you're buying a spaceship. So trying to figure that out is definitely a very challenging thing as well.
Yeah, I love the Edge of Tomorrow one. I mean, they totally botched like that movie on the marketing end. Speaking of marketing, it's like they name changed it 2 or 3 times, and it should have been like 10 times bigger than it was. Like, it's a really good movie, and I've got this little project in the back of my head that I might release on Swag. We'll see. Maybe it'll get bigger. I'm calling it Recursion, but it's basically like how to run all of the Groundhog Day or Inception type kind of tropes. Because if you think about Inception and you think about Edge of Tomorrow, they're very similar in the whole, like, getting to do stuff over or having a meta level of action and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, we could do some cool things with Savage Worlds and some cool, you know, just mechanics and I mean, it's one of the things like the nice thing about Savage Worlds is that like it's multi-genre, right? And if anything allows you to play multi-genre, but not riffs, not kitchen sink at all at the same time, but do the multi-genre all in like either even one event or but also stay over a course of a campaign. It's very much Inception, right? Like Inception did like train heist and James Bond, mountain ski chalet, shoot 'em up, enemy base, and like noir Japanese pagoda kind of, all those things in one film. And like, would that be just like awesome for Savage Worlds to be able to do like, okay, we'll do Indiana Jones style pulp here, and then we're gonna do Old West, and then we're gonna do like Shadowrun or whatever, all in like the same campaign. And like Inception allows you to do that. Also, like the Matrix kind of allows you to do that. And Edge of Tomorrow keeps the genre, but allows you to do kind of repeats. And like, how do you do? Kind of go back and like, not scripted. See, it's scripted on that one. It's like, how would that roll at the table where if you get like the redos and stuff like that. So, anyways, I've got a little note file. I've been stashing away adventure ideas and rules stuff. I'm calling it recursion. So I think it fits into those ideas. Anyways, not about me. This is about you, sir. So let's get back to the good stuff. I will keep putting up all the comments are off the hook. I'm like 20 comments behind on all the people who are super excited about sci-fi. Okay, sci-fi. We haven't asked yet. So we've done genres, and I'll keep posting up the things. But Gojira, how about races? What new races are you planning on bringing into the sci-fi companion?
So these are all tentatively named right now. But like what I mentioned earlier is the Dorn, which is the Klingon slash Gundam style, slash Krogan slash like the big brutes. We've also included variations on all of the races as well. So like the variant insectoid is a wasp-like creature. You still have like the initial ant slash praying mantis type. We've got the gelatinoids, which allow you to do some creative things. If you're willing to leave gear behind, you can get some pretty interesting places by slipping through grates. One of my play testers at one point basically made a gelatinoid and took all this other stuff. So he was basically like the chewy center of a pop, right? He had like all this mech stuff around him, and like if an EMP hit, he basically just seeped out and was like, "It's me."
I love it. I mean, sci-fi does allow for those awesome kind of things. Like, I was in a hardcore sci-fi game at a convention, and I mean, because you mentioned like the goo and slipping through and the only way to get out, the only way that we could determine to successfully survive the mission was to have all but one of us decapitate all the other characters, and we had cortical stacks, so it was it was kind of like altered carbon. And but there wasn't enough room. There was like a little tiny escape. We didn't get an escape pod. We got like a missile. And so the only way for our consciousness to survive was literally cut everybody's head off, keep their cortical stack, and then the last guy had to like, I think it was a girl actually. Last gal had to decapitate herself with the door closing on the missile and then shoot the missile off, hopefully at the same time, just so all our little heads were stuck in the missile. And I was like, that's so sci-fi, where the only way to survive is to like die. But yes, so I mean that's the best part about role playing is you get to do stuff you don't want to do in real life, like I don't know, die to survive. So okay, more races.
There's the Rascal, which are basically Rocket Raccoon, right? Like if anybody wants to be able to have an easy reference. We've added elementals for anybody who has played in any type of non-specific branded futuristic game in which there are maybe demons from another dimension. Like there's those to play. I know I'm missing some. One of the things that we talked about heavily was what to do about last parsec, right? And so this is not last parsec, right? Just to be clear. But what we did is we did use some of them as a basis for what to do with some of the new races. So those of you who have played last parsec might recall that you can play a slug-like race that crawls into dead bodies, and you can animate them, and that's kind of your character. Well, we similar have in this, they're called riders, which, we were talking DS9 earlier, right? So if you're playing like a Dax or, a way back throw to anybody who like read the old Animorph series, like the alien race that crawls inside you and takes over a body. Like you play one of these guys, and so you can kind of have two races if you want, so to speak. But at the same time, you may be an outsider to some places because you're riding around on somebody's friend there, and that's not the most appropriate thing to do. So yeah, I'll kind of cut it off there because, like I said, if you're talking races, there's, outside of just space dwarves and space
Mutual
bird
parasitism in the Age of Consent.
Yeah.
An essay by Jean-Luc Picard.
Space humans. Spoiler alert.
Wait, we get to space finally? It's been so long.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so there was one. I mean, maybe 55 comments back, but the where'd you go? The my favorite current modern space, The Expanse. And I think like last parsec is kind of our Expanse, a little.
So there will be a couple sections. One is definitely space, right? And that's where we'll talk about just general space travel, space combat, how that it's a vacuum, how decompression works, etc. But there's also different kinds of travel, and there's a lot of settings that have handled space travel like the Expanse very separately. And so there will be another section in like the setting rules where there will be different options to choose from. And the layout, can change from now till the end. So don't fully quote me when you look at the final product and go, you said it was 2 sections and now it's just 1. But the important thing is, yes, one of the things we want to be able to say is if you want to play a guy who can, in a setting where people can survive for a minute and a half in space, like some anime, or if you want to play The Expanse where everybody has to, strap in, inject themselves, and then go and hope that they don't die due to a brain aneurysm, we can have that in there for you as well.
I agree, Tim. I mean, I'm totally on board with a certain Star Trek character who refuses and wants to take an away ship because he knows that he's not being obliterated and recreated. Some good philosophical sci-fi. I'm not sure if it translates to the table, but it's definitely good philosophical sci-fi on that's the ship of Theseus, right? Like, are you still the one that beams down and beams back up? And also, like, if you can, I mean, the transporter really kind of breaks causality in Star Trek. It's like, can you not then end all disease and cure all cancer and all those kind of things because of the transport? Because if you can disassemble and digitize a person, you can then modify the ones and the zeros, and then anyways, they never really went there deeply on that show, but there's more of like a gimmick on like, hey, we can't afford to do more sets to show the people traveling, but we can do one set and do a cool effect, and there we go. So the limitations of budget is what brought in that beautiful technology. But anyways, so he wants to know heavy metal, ripping, tearing. How much horror is there in the Sci-Fi Companion? I need to buy both.
There is not currently any real like horror in the Sci-Fi Companion. That's not to say that there can't be any, but there is already a horror companion. And so there's only so much I want to pull from that angle. The last thing I want to do is give people a book, that has like a third of it being space horror, and they're like, I already bought the horror companion, and a lot of this seems very similar, right?
There was a Event Horizon suggestion at the beginning of chat. It's like that movie. I have scars from that movie still. Like, if you've never seen Event Horizon, it's like.
Oh, I've seen Event Horizon. Okay. I saw Event Horizon when I was probably far too young to see Event Horizon.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, here we go. Savage Worlds MST3K. I mean, that's just playing with like the right group of friends, and every game turns into Monty Python quotes in MST3K. I don't know that we need an actual companion for that. That's about your companions, not about the companions. Yeah. Oh my God, good stuff. Okay, so I mean, kind of like last question on the sci-fi companions. We've already gone a good 20-some minutes on sci-fi.
Yeah, I know. I think we're a little too long into this almost.
That's okay. That's okay. We do not have parents that are going to tell us when to go to bed. So
Okay.
It's our choice, and it's a Friday, so you can do a little longer. But how far along is the sci-fi companion? I mean, do we think we're going to be? Is it going to be this year? We're going to crowdfund it? Is it next year? Is it? How's your development going? Is it going well?
Let me say this with the full knowledge that the world exists and things out of our control happen in it. I would not be unsurprised to see it kickstart this year.
Okay, cool.
There is a lot in there already.
Or game change. We don't know the platform yet. So.
Right. There is a lot in it already. And a lot of what I'm focusing on right now is the small gritty stuff, and trying to space truckers, and trying to pull things in line. So it's got a lot in it already. I would not be surprised to see it come out this year.
Nice. It is highly anticipated. You can tell. I mean,
yeah, no pressure, right?
Someone mad react. Tim Davis, you angry reacted in our post. We're answering your questions, sir. We're answering your questions. I think you hit the wrong button. You can't be mad at this. Yeah. We know you're a fan. We know. And even if you're mad, you won't stay mad for long. Yeah, right? Geeky Spaz, totally true. Like Event Horizon was one of those ones. Like, yeah, it was good. I mean, I don't even know if I've watched it since. I think it was one of those ones where it's like, I mean, it's not on like Schindler's List level of like, I'm okay seeing it once. I don't. There's never other really good time. I was like, hey, it's Thursday. Let's throw on Schindler's List. Not as bad, obviously, because not real make believe versus like the Holocaust. But
how do we ban Don? Don's causing me some problems here.
Who is that jerk, and why is he here?
Right.
Yeah, you could play it 2 PCs. You just take performance as your only skill, and you have to actually. So here's the question, right? So if RPG playing is, if you go like very simulationist versus like participatory, where like you never give players actual puzzles to solve as a person, like they roll to solve puzzles, or so you don't have that element of kind of like mixing player versus character. Do you roll for the jokes on MST3K, or do you make the players actually come up with jokes while they're like watching the scene? Hard call. I don't think it's just funny. I'm like, ooh, I got a 20 on my jokes. Everybody laugh. Kind of hard, but anyways, something to think about. Oh my God, Fear Agent. Yes, Fear Agent. Space Truckers. Yes, Fear Agent is awesome. I think we still have some copies of Fear Agent left. If you haven't picked up Fear Agent, go pick it up because it's cool. And they're definitely like fun pulp in space. And thank God, you guys I'm almost caught up with the comments, and we're only halfway through the show, and we haven't even talked about Pathfinder for Savage Worlds yet, let alone Doomguard. So I'm going to do a hot transition. Let's see. Did I upload it already? I think I did. Okay, who's this, and why should we care?
Okay, so as everybody here knows, who backs Savage Pathfinder, we're not able to get every monster in the book. There's just so many there, and so one of the ones people were screaming about at the time was the Merilith. Right, the Merilith is a very terrifying demon that you can see out of Pathfinder. And so kind of funny story here is I've been running play tests, and I'll run a play test with my normal group, right? She's not single. She can summon a friend.
And just like Event Horizon, like very pointy, pokey, probably going to get you cut if you try to get anywhere near it. Like good Event Horizon aesthetic crossover.
Yeah. So I I wanted to play test the Merilith, and so I run my group through it, right? Part of my normal campaign, I'll just be like, all right, well, I'll insert this here, I'll take this out and swap it out for a Merilith as the bad guy, that kind of thing. And so I had recently taken a break from Pathfinder because I schedule myself what I'm working on. And I came back and I finished off the last couple things on her so I could run her that night. And I'm like, all right, they're better in my campaign. And I'm like, that's fine. They should be able to have an even job. What I didn't think about at the time is she's more of a heroic level bad guy. And so what was they should be fine turned very problematic very quickly. So, for example, she has an ability called multi-weapon mastery, which functions very similar to tentacles for people who have maybe used monsters with that. And she also has her tail can like crush people and make them make a check or potentially fall unconscious as she like crushes them. And even more
It's getting hot in here. It's getting
yeah. But even more fearsome is she's got a chance that she can summon from hell one of her sisters in a fight. And so like the first round hit, and they're all like, you know, they're doing their actions, they're going at it. The person playing a barbarian, you know, he got rages, wild attack swings, you know, does a really good roll, and it's like, all right, well, you shake her, and he's like, that shakes her. And so all of a sudden the party starts scrambling their buffs and trying to figure out how to you know, take her down. And then, you know, right when they're like, okay, I think we can handle this, half of us are down, but I think we got her now. And then her sister shows up, and yeah, we ended up calling it there. And I was like, yeah, I think I miscalculated. So my players suffer, so you all may reap the benefits of knowing how epic a fight can be. But yeah, so when we're doing the new books right now, which the ones I'm actively working on are the Bestiary 2. I'm going to make somebody happy by saying it that way this time. Which we want to grab a couple of the key ones that we didn't get from book 1, but we're also pulling from Bestiary 2 from Pathfinder. So it's going to be new stuff, great stuff, things to kill your players with, things for players to go, can I be one of these instead? You know, that kind of thing. And we're also working on the next player companion, whether it's Advanced Player's Guide 2 or Player Companion 1 or whatever. This time we're pulling from a few different books of theirs so that we can include like the Magus and the Gunslinger and some of the really popular ones that I know people have been you know, somebody says Magus one more time with an exclamation point, and I'm cutting it. I'll cut it from the book, I swear. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're trying to get this to you guys because I know everybody wants to play them, right? We're not doing an AP on this next one. Yeah, somebody called my bluff already. We're not doing an AP on this one. I know people have asked that recently. We want to get you these next sets of book out reasonably quickly. And, you know, more importantly, the way we were looking at things, it was just best to do it in this order. Thank you, Don.
I'm all spicy today.
He is. But in the future, I think, and don't hold me on this, but I think the one we've been leaning towards is Curse of the Carrion Crown in the future. So there will be more APs, but we are definitely hitting these player/GM aids first. There is an additional GM aid. I don't want to talk about it now, but it will potentially create new products for us to provide people in future books, depending on how well it's received. So we'll have a little something up our sleeve that we've been talking about that I think people will love. So keep that surprise for later.
Wow, I don't even know what this is, so I'm gonna have to push like off stream. Yeah, okay, so Moose Jack, Mongoose Jack, happy for the Gunslinger, very nice. And oh, Skulls and Shackles, nice. The Wow. So there's a lot of fans who are looking for the next APs. The oh, and everyone's like Starfinder. So I think with Starfinder, because it's, I mean, I like the fact that we like the Pathfinder 1 is kind of a closed circle that allows us to really kind of pick and choose and shine. I think because Starfinder is still in production. I don't know that we want to kind of stomp on Paizo's toes and kind of come out with the a still living campaign. We've got some space settings of our own, people, that we can do. So the not that it would be too hard to figure out a Starfinder for Savage Worlds, but we've got space properties of our own, guys.
Plus, sci-fi companion, Pathfinder books, like you can figure it out, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the one problem you run in with this is it is still technically a dragon, right?
Good stuff. Oh, yep, Carrying Crown. Let's see.
Yeah, and trust me, guys, I wish I could write like all the APs at once, because I know personally, no matter how many times like I ask, everybody will have a different answer. I love the Shackled City campaign. If anybody ever played that, that's way back. But sadly, that's not anywhere up on my list of things to work on. So I do read what you guys say, and I do my best when we talk to try to figure out what to do next. But I can't do it all at once, so I will sadly have to disappoint some people.
I mean, so is life. So is life.
Yeah.
You mentioned a lot of stuff that's potentially on the plate for Pathfinder for Savage Worlds going forward. Looking back a bit, as you've already put out a bunch. What's been your favorite thing to create so far for Savage Worlds Pathfinder?
My favorite thing to create so far for Savage Pathfinder. Ooh, that's a really hard one. I would. Yeah, you might have. Does it have to be like a specific edge or a specific spell, or can it just be like a broad? Because I want to say the Advanced Player's Guide in general. I enjoyed putting out the core book, and I really enjoyed working with everybody who worked on it with me. But sitting down to work on the Advanced Player's Guide, I got to look past the minimum meat and bones of what we had to make sure we included, and start looking at the other stuff. The extra little things to add in, how to evolve edge trees, how to look at doing more legendary edges, because I love legendary edges. And so being able to customize and build those, to bring those to the table. I loved doing the Advanced Player's Guide. It was a blast.
Well, it was certainly well received, and I can't wait till we start getting it into people's hands. Physical.
And playtesting it was crazy too, right? Like somebody had commented on the forums the other day about how if you go Oracle and you go Lore, you can get time stop as novice. Like, holy cow, that's crazy, right? And I'm like, don't get me wrong, it is really good. And if you walk into a fight, as an Oracle at novice and spend 2/3 of your PowerPoints to do like a really awesome thing in a fight, like you deserve that 100%. Be cool, feel epic. That's amazing. But it's 2/3 of your PowerPoints for what it does, right? It's still just a power, right? Whereas you could have gone bones and walked out with damage, feel, and bolt, and used PowerPoints to check a ton of different powers. And so certain things on paper will either look good or look powerful. And when you actually use them on the tabletop, you're like, this seemed cool on paper, but why would I ever actually do this? And so you have to go back and re-engineer it and recheck things out. And so, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in Savage Worlds for Pathfinder.
How about them monks?
Monks were really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Monks, Don can attest to this. We spent so many meetings that were supposed to be about class edges that turned into monk. Because monks are very specific, right? they don't evolve in the same way that other characters do in fantasy by getting, these cool new epic weapons that they use to augment their damage and make themselves more lethal. But they're also not spellcasters that can then just chuck more spells as they, evolve themselves. And so, yeah, trying to figure out how to make them work within this world of, magical weaponry and spell casting was crazy difficult. Yeah, he's not wrong. If anybody has ever wondered what it's like to work on stuff like that, imagine you go in for a week, you put in your 40 hours of work to get one thing done, and then you're proud of it, and somebody sits down and goes, well, what about point B? That breaks everything, does it? And you go, all right, starting from scratch.
Oh, I think I know who that somebody might be.
And that's what's great about working on this team. Like, I brought a cinematic dogfight deck to Shane, right? And I'm like, here's what I love about it, this. And he's like, but what if everybody's in the same ship? And I go, I'll come back to you. Like, people call out these things, right? And so it's great about working on a team. You'll lose stuff, but overall it gets better and better.
Yeah, Clint will take on Shane on stuff, and I love watching them kind of butt heads. It's like, ooh, back up, Clint versus Shane. Let's go do this. It's always creates better rules and good stuff. But yeah, it is fun watching me like, excuse me, game design. Let's do this. And yes, right. They don't call it the Block-Edit because it's fun, and he's such a nice guy in person, right? It's like very cordial game master and all that good stuff. And you get him on a rules question, and he's got opinions. It's good.
So Clint and I don't always agree, but it's very interesting because he's one of those guys where if you sit there, and I've had this with him where I go, this is what I think, he'll go, no, I think it should be this. And I'll lay down like, all right, well, here's my reason, blah, 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 blah. And he'll sit there and he does this. And it's about like 18 seconds of that pose. And he goes, I can see that. You might be right. And so he takes.
And that's as good as you're gonna get.
Yeah. So it's great though. So I'm I know these are two totally separate things, right? Sci-Fi Companion, Pathfinder for Savage Worlds, but I am equally excited for both of them. I think you guys, whether you back one, back both, I think you're going to find awesome stuff coming up that's going to let you play some incredibly epic games.
Yeah. So speaking of epic games and rapid transitions, let's talk about board games. So for folks who might not have heard, Pinnacle Entertainment has launched Ghost Rock Games, which is our board game imprint. And if you are interested in getting becoming aware, being notified when we start launching some of these things, and just because I'm the spoiler king, we've got like an amazing, like maybe the biggest, IP in our portfolio, board game, this kind of a thing that's getting worked on. But that's not Doomguard. Doomguard's another one. And Doomguard, you guys might have seen a little bit in the Superpowers companion. There's some kind of cool stories that build on the world of Doomguard. I think even Donald might have written for one of those. And,
yep, Don contributed. There was the collection, I think, was called Tales of the Doomguard.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So you guys saw some of that there.
So let's see. I think so. If you guys, okay. So in chat now, and then on the screen, that's a little link. It's a sign-up link. If you want to join the email list to get notified when we have Ghost Rock Games website goes live, which will be very, very soon, and then when we announce projects and bring them to crowdfunders. That's the link to try. Oh, of course, Facebook Facebook doesn't like the link, so I'll post it for everybody again because I can't just choose one platform. And it's yelling at me that didn't get on Facebook, but that's the link. And so I know the link is not sexy, and the landing page right now is just literally like give us your email. So let's show some cool, sexy stuff that we've got because there is. Let's see. Here we go.
And there's this right here, right?
Oh,
so
we'll get there. Okay. I'll zoom in. As long as you pointed to it, so I'll show it. So let's make you nice and big. What is behind you, sir?
So part of the Doomguard board game, or perhaps even your superhero RPG, is defending certain landmarks from things, right? In this instance, we're talking about Legacy City's power plant. And in the game, you'll have the city functioning as normal for the most part until whatever evil is approaching causes it to corrupt to a certain extent. And behind me is the artwork for the corrupted power plant. And if the landmark is demolished while it is on this side, it has a meltdown that does massive damage to parts of the board and to the heroes and villains alike. So we've got some really cool elements involving the terrain and the city that you're trying to defend. What we have as the backdrop here is the problematic version of the subway system. Yeah, there's a monster down under causing problems. And so, as you guys might have caught on, Doomguard does take place in the Necessary Evil universe. And so there's going to be some similarities in the fluff as you see it. This is at a future point compared to Necessary Evil 1 and 2. So it's not taking place during the Sauri invasion. Oh, hey, yeah, look at that very, very friendly commute.
Trains, planes, and cephalopods.
There we go.
With brains.
But you will take on, in this game, the roles of heroes and villains who are forced to come together and work for what is called the Doomguard, which is there to deal with all the existential threats that show up and want to end all of existence, whether that is an elder evil such as Cthulhu or Azathoth, or whether it is demon princes coming from another dimension to try and take over. If anybody read my adventure in the Tales of the Doomguard, there may be spoils in there for something that's coming out for the board game. So yeah, this, by the way, is a very small teaser for Doomguard. And so there will be a bigger one later. John, I will be at SaltCon at the beginning of March. I will then be at Dice Tower West with Simon at the beginning of March also. I think I have back-to-back conventions. You will also see us at BGG Spring, I want to say, and then I'll have to remember the other one that's coming up later. I actually posted on Facebook earlier this year. I think I'm hitting like 6 cons this year to run it.
I think Game Hall is going to be a big event for us too, so hopefully we'll shoot you there. We haven't made plans yet.
Or you can ride on out to Utah and, I'll hang out and play a game with you.
Knock on his door.
There we go.
I want to play your games, sir. Please let me in. Oh, Hannibal's very excited. You want to play? You want to play Doomguard? Yeah, Doomguard. Oh, he's very cute. So also demo teams. I don't know if we've set up a demo team yet, so that's a good idea. We can definitely see about that. We right now I think our extra copies have gone out to reviewers for the future crowdfunding, but if we get a demo team, that may be fun too. So good idea, Overland Gamer. We will get on that. And so let's see. Wait, you're just when you move out. That's really why we waited. We waited. They were like, yeah, nope. Grom Maltalk's still there, but okay, he's cleared. Good, we can go. That's the reason. So it was never going to work out anyway, Grom. Just to let you know, it's not us, it's you. Just kidding. Necessary Evil is actually coming soon, very, very soon. So that's the cool part about this is that the Necessary Evil 3, which is awesome. So I can spoil this. So we're going to go hog wild on this, and because Necessary Evil 1 and 2 were so loved and deserve the treatment, we are going to re-release Necessary Evil 1 and 2 with the Necessary Evil 3 crowdfunder with all new, all swaydified, all up-to-date coolness. So for backers who haven't got in on the Necessary Evil yet, and Necessary Evil, the basic concept is that the aliens invade, kill all the superheroes, or imprison them or take them somewhere else, or whatever, it could be a little more PG. And all that's left to defend the Earth are the supervillains. So the supervillains have to be the good guys. That's the necessary evil. So the necessary evil 1 and then 2 was a prequel to that, which actually got into more of the alien invasion stuff, and are both going to be redone. Lots of new art. It's kind of bring it up to our current style and quality. So we are super excited. That's a rare re-release. Only usually Deadlands gets re-releases, for special anniversaries. But because this is the 20th anniversary of Savage Worlds, we figured let's do it. Let's bring back all the necessary evil in new deluxe editions. So if you haven't got into it, you can get into it again. And then if you have it already and you want it, all the work for Suede already done for you, we'll release them in new up-to-date books. So that's super exciting, and that's going to be very, very soon. That's maybe next month, as soon as next month-ish soon. Cool.
Yeah, it's probably definitely I'm gonna force it on him, a Daryl conversation, bring him on for a stream, and let him talk about it. I think he'll have way more to say on that.
Yeah. We never have Daryl on, but Daryl's busy at a convention. Just a couple miles north of me right here right now.
Oh, so he can't say no. So I can say he is definitely going to be here for a stream about this, and now he has to do it.
I mean, if Don can give you orders on stream when he's at home being spicy, we can certainly give Daryl orders. Just the transitive property of order giving. And right, that is opportunity knocking at your door, Tim. So save up your money, do a little extra work, get him in some overtime, and so your wallet can get a little purview, little refresher. And I think as soon as March, we're going to be doing the necessary evil, which is awesome. And Jason, nice, Salt Lake City. We had some friends out there. I got a good friend who lives out in the Salt Lake area. And Sequoia, what's up, buddy? He usually watches the streams.
Yeah, I'm down in Provo, so if you find me on Facebook and want to get together and play a game, I'm sure we can meet up somewhere in the middle.
If it weren't so hard to get to, we should totally do a Savage Worlds expedition to Moab. Right, it's not easy for folks to get. Coloradoans love to go there because we can just drive out of state and get down there. But Canyonlands, White Rim Trail.
So I just need a minute, John. I know you only see from here up, but do I look like a guy who goes skiing, or do I look like a guy who can tell you where the good Brazilian barbecue is? All right, I can do one of those two things. I'm gonna let you guess.
Wait, what comment are you responding to, sir?
He's good skiing there, yeah?
Yeah. I don't look like a guy who can ski either. I'm Colorado native. You almost have to be born with ski poles in your hands. I broke my leg, spiral fracture, both bones, 3 places. On the Bunny Hill, second day skiing, day before Christmas, 5 or 6 years old. So yeah, I do not have a D12 in agility or athletics. Let's just put that out there right now. D4 -3, probably somewhere in that range. Just I break my toe regularly in door jams. I can't even operate a door correct. Not a moving door, a stationary portal. I will break things going through. So yeah.
So a couple more things I want to hit before we go. I know we've got some pictures, but just so people know, this isn't going to be Savage Worlds rules completely just moved over onto a board, right? We have different mechanics. For anybody who's played board games before, right, they tend to have different mechanics than the standard RPG dice. So it won't be just, why would I get Doomguard when I can just role play it? It's got campaigns we've got for it. It's got lots of different kinds of mechanics, fun stuff going on. So yeah, he is Don.
Oh, there's a comment. Okay. See, Mike's worried no one's going to show up to his party, and it's there's 60 people here watching, and it's more than we usually have, and the comments are at least twice as fast as we normally get. So yeah, Mike's a little. They're not showing up for me, bud. So.
Right. So if anybody has ever watched me talk about these games before, Mythos Games is fantastic. Yes. I'm a big fan of miniatures. We have great pawns for Savage Worlds. So no shade thrown at our pawns. I've used them for RPGs before, but I love minis. And so when Shane and Simon had talked to me, I was like, this is the hill I'm dying on. this far and no farther. It has to have minis. So this is actually from a playtest game we had. That's Hellcat. From anybody who has seen her in the RPG book, and she is dealing with some cultists who are Captain Might statue trying to alter it to their nefarious ritual. Here she is with her artwork as well as a painted up mini by Garden Ninja Studios. She is fantastic on the tabletop too, by the way. The camera does not do her justice. And that is a no parking sign, by the way, that she was over. Here we have a cultist with his cut hand and bleeding dagger, a Chthonian, which is a beautiful model up close. And then for anybody who wants to play the weird guy, that is actually Spellbinder, one of the playable characters who uses his big book of the occult to ramp up his corruption and then use it to cast all of these crazy spells on the enemies on the board. So he is, we've got a lot of different characters and they have different play styles, but he has been a fan favorite along with Ogre, who is one of the other fan favorites. That suit, getting to walk around, I think it's Simon's son's favorite. Like usually when I ask what people want to play when I'm demoing it, I'll be like, hey, pick a hero, and they're the first two chosen. So much so that I have to now be like, all right, people that you now need to play these so I can play test these heroes. But yeah, the minis are phenomenal. I don't know if it'll show up, but I've got like, oh no, it's not going to. It's like a little crawling one guy. Yeah. Anyway, they're fantastic. I think these are all going to be epic.
Let's see if we get him to blush even more. So if we get him to blush more, then his red face will be a perfect background for that mini. Right now it's too pale and it like blends in with the green
like
yeah. So yes, the I know the Hellcat. I love the art for Hellcat. Like, you know, I'd switch teams for Hellcat. Yeah, the minis are awesome. So Donald has had these like on his shelf for like months and months and months. We always kind of like joke about like the sneakiest little like teaser ever is this little like ogre mini. And I think he's pulled them out for like special like in the Kickstarter closings or not. But we love to see him getting painted now. Like we're in the stage where they're accepting paint, and it looks so good.
The one that I think we're really going to push the limits on is how much trouble do you think I can get on, depending on what I talk about here?
Don't worry. Shane and Simon are busy, and Jody's getting her hair done. So
her hair done. So like I said, I love the Strigoth, right? Again, if you read my adventure, there is a big baddie that is trying to come through. And so I am one of the bad guy groups is a single celestial horror, which I think is going to be an epic mini to see on the board. We've got some really, really good art for it right now. But yeah, I have so much fun with these guys. And there's going to be a ton of enemy groups. There is one that actually Daryl helped me pull together. Is you can play a Visori villain named the Neo Mind because he thinks he's far more powerful than the previous guy, and so he's the Neo Mind. And if you want to be a Visori controlling your little puppets, you can play him as you also try to fend off whatever intergalactic or celestial horror thinks it can take over your domain. It is co-op, by the way, for anybody who is curious. So
tell us more about that. Like, tell us about the aspects of the game. Like,
So you get together as a group of 1 to 5 players. You sit down and you have either one-offs or you can play through the series of scenarios that tell a story. Yeah, I'm glad somebody's happy about that. And as you play, you can take on personal extra challenges for your characters to upgrade your deck. You can choose different enemy groups to fight. So, some like cultists always come with Cthulhu. But if you're not fighting against Cthulhu, you don't have to bring them. You might choose to bring some crawling ones or chaos crawlers, Chthonians, Hounds of Tindalos, hybrids. There's tons of bad guys. And yeah, everybody, characters are complex, and so we have a mechanic that lets you I say lets you, that sometimes forces you to switch between aspects of your character. Like Blackguard, for anybody who's read the Superpowers Companion, he is a redeemed villain who Warden is brought over, and so your main play with him is you deal with gadgets and you run around and you're kind of this street brawler taking on people. But if you become fully corrupted by everything going on in the game, you flip over to your Cray side. And so now he's more about how, he's used to be darker and mean. And so one of the cards I love, it's called At Any Cost, where he will literally level a landmark with C4 just to take out the baddies there. Or a forced card where he can't protect bystanders anymore because he doesn't care about their lives. And so every character has this two sides to them that you can play. And going crazed isn't great, but sometimes it's necessary, and it provides you outlets to these different things. So yeah, there's a lot going on in there, and that's just a taste of how it is. But there are characters like Ogre. If you're one of those players who likes to cause issues for their friends, Shane. Ogre has the ability to spend tokens off other players, whether they want you to or not, and you're still trying to complete the same objective. You're just kind of a jerk about it, and so there's play styles for everybody in there. I would actually brag that I think we have the best support characters I've seen for any game. A lot of times, if you like playing support, you can still kind of get left behind when it comes to leveling or actions or things like that. But I think much like in Savage Worlds, I think if you want to play a support character, you're going to have a blast.
That sounds awesome. What else we want to know about Doomguard? I mean, I don't want to get too deep, but obviously you can use the miniatures for the RPG. So if you like the Doomguard adventures, like that's always a good crossover.
And there's just to point that we're going to have the sculpts will be for the characters, right? But like Hellcat, right? If you change that from a fiery red to a blue, she could be manipulating water just as easily. So yeah, you can definitely use them for your necessary evil or your superpowers campaigns. If you want to bust out some chonky minis, they have nice heft to them.
Nice. And then so here's a big philosophical question: why board games?
For the longest time, I didn't play them. I did play tabletop games, but I didn't play board games. And then somebody showed me the error of my ways by showing me that I didn't know what board games actually were. And so, yeah, I have just loved board games for so long because while I enjoy RPGs and I play a ton of RPGs, I like the structured world in these games where I can try to achieve this goal and I can level up these different kind of characters and do all these different things in a very structured way. And I really enjoy it. And you know what? Don also nailed it. They're fun. The other thing I will say, outside of learning the game for the first time, most games seem to last about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And that is just a sweet spot, in my opinion, for being able to sit down with like a few friends and just go, right? Yeah, there's games that are longer, but I really like that time frame. And I know we'll do a big reveal in the future. I'm sure we'll have more images. We'll go in more in depth. We've talked about doing videos for it, learn to play, things like that. So this is really kind of a teaser. And also, anybody who sees me chat on Facebook periodically, you might be thinking, oh, I thought Mike was the Pathfinder guy, or oh, I thought, I heard Mike was working on SciFi Companion. Why do you keep seeing me pop up and things? I have not abandoned anything. I'm still here. I'm still working on all of these. He has traded out shackles for bear traps in my apartment, so Shane makes sure I keep working. But yeah, none of this is getting left behind. They're all on, I want to say the front burner rather than the back burner, but it's basically my stove is covered with all these projects. And so, plus I just like talking to people and letting them know what's going on.
Bear traps. Now I'm hungry. All the food references. Yes, we do. We wear many hats. Let's see, I got a good one. Check out this hat. This is my new favorite hat because it's like blizzarding out, and I have stuff to go like take the dog to the dog park. So this is my new favorite hat. Speaking of like bears and hats, let's see. I mean, fantastic, right?
That's a pretty great hat.
Right. Yeah, the dog knows. The dog knows. Like when this hat goes on, like we're headed to the park. So the so guys, we're already over an hour. Thank you much. So a little bit of news from other stuff. So we hope you like the teas. I love the paint and the art. Like it's good stuff. The paint and the art. The paint on the miniatures. It is a work of art. So those are. I mean, my Mike's been busy dude. Like so, Pathfinder Savage Worlds coming along excellently. More good character and game master options coming forth on that project. Right, John Doom knows it. This is it's a fine hat. It's a fine hat. The sci-fi companion is going to be huge because I mean the number of comments on what folks want to see in there is we know we get it, so that's why it's in production. Hi Hannibal. I think Hannibal's been this is like the year anniversary of Hannibal being on stream, so I think if you want to go back to a year ago. Oh, he's so cute. You can see he was like this big on stream, like as big as his little head now, and now he's huge, and doesn't realize that Daddy's working. And say hi, Hannibal. And then the other cool thing. So like, okay, Doomguard. I put a link in the chat. That's the sign up list, like the EE whatever link. So that is the link if you want to be the first to know about when we're actually getting ready to fund all the cool things that will be Doomguard. Get on that list and we will send you an email as a reminder. We won't abuse it. We don't really use it further. That'll be the Doomguard and Ghost Rock Games email. And let's see what else. Oh, right, true. I would be a bear trap if I had a fish in the hat, like the different kind of bear, but whatever. It's all good. And then okay. Other things. So someone asked a really good question about an hour ago. I know nothing about Savage Universe. Okay, so Savage Universe is our new initiative. So we looked at the OGL situation, and we're really proud and happy with our license situations, and we think our licensees are too. So instead of kind of jumping on trying to change our licenses, we decided what would really be great for our community is if we could disentangle and give more of a shining light on all the wonderful things that people are doing with Savage Worlds that aren't Pinnacle. So our aces, who are our highest level of producer, who they will go into producing hardcover books or real physical books. Our translators, who they do the same, bringing it to different languages in different countries, and then also our more fan level. Our swag program, the Savage Worlds Adventures Guild, and and then our media network, and people who put in stuff that isn't actual role-playing games but uses role-playing games. So for all of those folks, our plan is to have Savage Universe be a one-stop shopping website where you can see what the upcoming actual plays are. You can see where Ace and Swag, like if Aces are going to Kickstarter, or Swag has a big event like the Fast Furious February. There's currently a cool event going on with the Swag creators to produce stuff during February. So so Kickstarters, live streams, upcoming projects, all that good stuff, like a calendar of events. People who are even running games. So we want to have a kind of a universal calendar of all the other stuff people are doing that maybe besides PEG, because we've got our newsletter for that. And we will still keep Aces and Swag in the newsletter, but we just kind of want a space for those folks to shine and have their own website and a little coordination. And we brought on JM DeFogie as a whole staff member to be able to kind of coordinate that and promote that. And that's where our commitment is regarding licensing. Is we don't want to just make it easier, because we think it's pretty easy, to get into developing for Savage Worlds. We want to make you guys more successful and bring more backers and more attention. So that is what SavageUniverse.com is. And so we've snagged the website domain. We're on like level 3 of feedback. We're about to show it to the Aces and get their round of feedback, and then we'll show it to the Swag members and get their feedback, and then we'll show it to the Media Network and get their feedback. And when we get that, we will launch it, and still it'll be iterated through multiple stages. But that's what we really hope for SavageUniverse.com. And then another cool thing. So I don't know. Should I announce this? Just in the planning. So we've got some great community members. And speaking of, putting on, welcoming the new community. So no secret that kind of the OGL kerfuffle. Again, we feel for all the developers at all the companies. They're our friends and colleagues. So we don't like to see any industry drama. But you definitely noticed, like, hey, January and December were like 2 really great months for us. And probably not all to do with OGL drama, but a lot of new folks are coming into Savage Worlds and exploring kind of some other systems than the one everyone knows about. And so we are doing Savage Worlds player-focused events that are, hey, welcome to Savage Worlds. You want to learn how to play? They're open to veterans as well. But if you are new to Savage Worlds or want to get into it, we've got awesome people like Josh Hughes, who's Buff Dragon below, and he's going to be organizing events. Hopefully the first one's going to be March 7th. And I've got a link for that. So let me actually get that so you guys can come and join in. We're using Warhorn for the first one. I know Warhorn's a little bit limited, but the good thing is knowing just like the limitations of sites like Warhorn or tabletop events for kind of some one-offs. I think one of the cool things we're going to do is we've got another website. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet because there's nothing parked there, but we are going to double down on making Savage Worlds games easy to find and play. And so that is brand new in development to so the link, let me pop in the comments, you guys can see it. So this is the link to get in on the March 7th event. So if you are new to Savage Worlds, head on over there to the Warhorn and get in on the event for March 7th to learn some Savage Worlds. And we might change platforms. We might actually get tabletop events working. It's a little friendlier than Warhorn, but long term, we want to have our own platform to be able to find and run Savage Worlds. And we do love the fact that kind of the revolution in game masters getting paid to run games. If you want to come be a paid game master, that will hopefully be an option if we can work it out on the site. So if you want to put up your games to run and folks want to throw down on giving you some cash and having reviews and all that kind of good stuff, so you get to know some of the game masters and the people you're playing with before you play with them. All those things are possible. And so that's kind of one of the things we're doing now. Besides printing books and building books and creating new worlds, we're also wanting to bring more tools to bear, because that's the theme of this, is now bear, for you guys. So super exciting stuff coming down the pipe. So again, save your pennies. We're going to do Necessary Evil 3 with 1 and 2. That's coming up as the newest crowdfunder. Mike is hard at work also on SciFi Companion. No date on that yet because it is a big task and we're going to get it right. But he's working hard. He's working fast and furious. And we don't know if he's having fun, but he's still with us. So hopefully he's having fun. And yes, as Sybil Savage says, Ronnie, my good friend, Ronnie and I have been killing some ants and termites and ladybirds in Grounded as our non-role playing get together, and we still have to finish Sundown and Showdown with Brian. Brian's writing for us, so soon. He's a friend and a longtime Savage. Let's see what else. Oh, here we go. Yep, John Doom approves. We like you. We approve of you too, John Doom. And Red Classy, look at all the love. So anyways, we're doing a lot of cool stuff to, besides, keeping these wonderful books on tap, on schedule. And I mean, poor Mike's got like a real day job too, not just in the game industry. And he's got, the blessing from Paizo. Someone asked a question there about what about writing the actual material for Pathfinder? If you didn't hear that, right, it was a bad pun, but hey, that's my shtick. But yeah, so Buffy, I can ask, let's recruit some game masters. We'll get a little game master corps going, so you guys can indoctrinate. I mean, educate, elucidate, welcome all the new players who want to come into Savage Worlds, and it's good stuff. So we've already gone a little bit over our hour. But yeah, there'll be more from Mike. I will let him get back to work because the SciFi Companion and Pathfinder Savage Worlds and Doomguard create themselves. But I haven't got to play Doomguard yet, but the feedback has been fantastic. The conventions that Mike's already been out running around, we've gotten some really great feedback, and so all good things coming forward. And yep, Joe Stone, right? We will assimilate all the game masters it's a good little game. I mean, you know, I just happen to might be a fan, and like no pressure on Mike to make it great. But yeah, the feedback's been fantastic, so we can't wait to get to show you that as well. And the big stompy mechs in both, like SciFi and in Doomguard, big stompy mechs.
I have one job: make the mechs big and stompy. Got it.
Right, that's it. Wait, job? You're getting paid for this? What? You guys getting paid? Anyways, we appreciate you guys. Have a great Friday. It's been a great start of the year for us, and we're just hoping for more, bigger, better. We realize our breakneck speed on production, and we've kept it up for more than a year now. And we like giving you guys a little hint on what's coming, so you can prepare. Hopefully, you're all doing really well at your jobs and getting raises for all of this. We know it's a big ask because we're producing a lot more. We're not doing the one Kickstarter a year anymore, folks. But whether it's on Kickstarter or Game Change or kind of our new websites, we definitely are looking at ways to be able to keep shipping reasonable and get you guys the products you want, and to combine shipping. And we like all the tools so far that we've helped bring to bear, and we're excited for all the other good stuff. So board games are in your future. Sci-fi is in your future. The Magus is in your future. So
that's it, Don. We're cutting it.
Right? I better stop talking before I reveal more secrets, because I wasn't supposed to tell you about the thing. But again, thanks to Mr. Hughes for getting these kind of welcome to the noobs games running, and we're hoping to do more with that. And then, of course, we're looking to attend conventions. There's just so much stuff going on, guys. We're doing a lot, and we appreciate all the love. And okay, that's good. We're not. No one's cutting. I mean, unless it's like that the woman with the 6 arms and all the bladed weapons and a couple bludgeoning ones. I don't know how she does. Like, she's like a walking OSHA violation. Like, don't run with scissors. She's got way too much going on.
Maybe if there's room and I can get away with it, I'll make a Magus Merilith. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And then, not to break your heart, but martial arts ain't going to be in 2023. If you want a little taste of that, give them a pre-order for Legend of Ghost Mountain. Legend of Ghost Mountain doesn't replace the Martial Arts Companion, and when we do the Martial Arts Companion, it will not just be Asian martial arts. It will be be pan-Asian, but also like European and African, all other good martial arts that we can put in there, because it really does need to be martial arts are more than just Asian martial arts. But that one's not coming soon. Just because I think hopefully we've whetted your appetite with Legend of Ghost Mountain, and there's just a lot of work that we'd like to see how the other things kind of fall into place with the other companions. And so yeah, that one's Sci-Fi's next, and then we will. Oh, Deadlands Dark Ages. Oh my God, yes, it's coming.
All right, Landauer, everybody gets a Benny if we can wrap it up with this.
Yeah, Deadlands Dark Ages is coming, and then Hannibal really wants to go to the dog park. So I need to go before he eats my hat. So thanks, friends, and we will catch you hopefully next week. We'll have a stream or something. We'll figure it out. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get out there and roll some dice, and cheers, folks. Thank you.
Bye, guys.